In a universe very much like your own, dear listener, 4 beings of immeasurable power connected over Discord to create a galaxy. These beings possess the power to create, a gift given to them through years of reading literature, and from a very helpful manuscript gifted to one of them through purchase on the Lame Mage Productions website for $9.99. The 4 were amazed at the power they wielded, and in their hubris created with impunity. The sessions were 3, and at the end of their dizzying task, the 4 beings stepped back to examine their work, and said that it was good. Against boredom, even the gods themselves struggle in vain. Nietzsche.
Hi, everybody. We're the Roll Warriors team, and today we're going to be playing a world building game developed by Lame Mage Productions called Microscope. This was written by Ben Robbins, and it's kind of an interesting game, and I will let you guys help me read the description for it. So this is the page. Should be page 6 after what is Microscope, and it's in italics. So, Andrew, why don't you kick us off with the first paragraph?
All right. Microscope works differently than some other role-playing games you might have played, so let's abandon some preconceptions.
You won't have your own character. You won't play the game in chronological order. You may know all about the future, but be surprised by the past.
You'll build the story from the outside in. You'll decide the big picture, the grand scheme of history, and then burrow down and carve out the details. It's fractal gaming. So think big. You'll have a massive chunk of history to play around in.
And I'll just read this last part. Humanity spreads to the stars and forges a galactic civilization. Fledgling nations arise from the ruins of the Empire. An ancient line of dragon kings dies out as magic fades from the realm. These are all examples of Microscope games. The author of this game says I should read this part to you because it's really important. All of us sitting at this table have equal creative power. At times, we'll have different roles and authority, but we're all equal participants and authors. It may sound like I'm running the game because I'm going to be explaining a lot about the rules, and I may interrupt and jump in to clarify how the game is played. But I don't have any more authority than anyone else who is coming to play the game. There's no GM. Now that we know what the game's about, we're ready to get started. The first step is creating a big picture. So what we want to do is basically create a history seed. And this is like a 1-sentence kind of overview of what our history is going to be about. So I have that on the document. Big picture. So I know that we have it set in space, and it's humanity's kind of first interaction with aliens. I also really liked Andrew's statement in an earlier meeting about it being like maybe early or just after the discovery of like interstellar travel. So we should let's brainstorm a big picture seed for that kind of thing.
Okay.
Anyone have a suggestion?
Okay, so you said this is like basically after first discovering interstellar space travel, basically?
Yeah, so the rest of this sector of space has just gotten interstellar travel. And we're going to be focusing primarily in the campaign on the human astronauts. But for now, we don't even have to talk about them. They're the focus of the campaign, but they're not the focus of the history that we're creating.
Okay.
We want to talk about this sector of space.
Okay. Like what it looks like, basically?
So just like a catchy one-liner, or one sentence that kind of is like the thesis statement, if you will, of our sector of space, of our history.
Okay. Okay. I was thinking like the interstellar space race has just begun, but let's keep pace because there's a lot left to discover.
Yeah, if you want that, you can go ahead and write it. I would find a way to simplify that wording-wise, just to make it like a little bit. I want it to be vague, but pointed. Will give us a lot of space to play around in, but be direct in the focus. If that's not counterintuitive.
Okay, are we the last ones to discover this?
No. We're looking at a bird's eye view of history. In this section of space, and things might have happened before it, and things might have happened after it. We're just focusing on this point right now. So, as historians, how would we describe this?
I just put something down in the big picture. I said a fledgling civilization enters a new galactic stage.
All right. I like that.
Yeah, that's not bad.
It's short. It's explanatory. Yeah, let's hear everybody's, and then we'll maybe vote. I'll type out one too.
Oh, God. Okay, head empty, no thoughts. Let me think.
Yeah, here's some sample ones that they have. Explorers settle a new land, displacing the native people. Secret societies carefully steer the course of civilization. Primitives leave their cave and found the first cities. A race of machines unearth their organic origins. All right, Jordan, do you not have one?
Yeah,
it's okay
I don't
if you
have one. I'm so sorry. No thoughts, head empty.
It's okay. That's okay. This is just a warm up. So, of the three,
Mine
who
sucks.
likes the
I know.
first? Who likes the first one the best? Okay. Who likes the second one?
It's lame. I know. Thanks, y'all.
I mean, they're all kind of saying the same thing, I feel like.
know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I think, Gavin, yours is just the most descriptive without it being too descriptive, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we want to go with the recent invention of interstellar travel. The galaxy just got bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
sure, that
so
sounds good.
What if we used advent instead of recent invention? That kind of makes it shorter, but also like mysterious.
I like that. With the advent of interstellar travel.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. All right. I'll just get rid of the others so that we just have one here. Sorry, guys. Delete. And that's gonna be our big picture. We're always remembering when we are going. Okay. So, Microscope is a little like poker. You want to keep your cool ideas close to your vest until you use them. If the rest of us know what you're going to do ahead of time, it's not as interesting. After we get the big picture satisfied, the next thing we have to do is bookend the history. So history is going to be divided into periods. Each period is a very large chunk of time. Could be decades, could be centuries. This would be like, the 100 Years' War or the Industrial Age. Like they're big chunks of history that people can like actually, this is the start of it, this is the end of it. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a starting period and an ending period. How we do that is we're basically just going to agree on a short description for each period, and then we'll decide if it's light or dark, meaning that things that are happening in this period are good, or things that are happening in this period are very not good. So this will be the starting point and the ending point. And let me create a new thing, bold, italics, period start. So, what do we think the starting period should be? Probably something having to do with the advent of interstellar travel. But this could be like anything.
You could have it be like the first planet colonized or something like that.
Okay. So like interstellar colonization begins.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. So periods are going to be not indented. Events are going to be indented below them with a bullet, and then scenes are going to be indented under the events, because each one of those things is happening inside of the other. The period happens, and then the event happens inside the period, and then a scene happens inside an event. So do we think interstellar colonization begins is light or dark?
Dark.
Dark for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll call it dark. Demi, what's the justification?
Interstellar colonization begins with forced servitude of conquered races in the galaxy. Let me stop.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine with me. I get the justification. We'll get more into it at a later point. Okay. So, and then we're gonna do period end or ending period.
Cool. Ooh, do I get to type that?
Don't worry about typing the justification. It's just for us to know.
Okay.
So I wouldn't really worry about it. We figured out why we thought it was dark, and we can move on, and we kind of all have it in our heads. So, the ending period. What do we think is going to be the end of the history that we're looking at? This doesn't have to be the end of all life in this section of space. It's just a blanket term to mean like we're not going to focus on anything past this point.
I was going to say that like interstellar space travel only works within a certain radius, and like if they try to extend and beyond that radius, then like it like blows up or something.
Is that a period, or is that just a statement?
Oh, okay. So you mean like from beginning to end period, like a period in time?
Yes, yeah. So like the Industrial Revolution is a period.
Yeah.
Okay. The example that they have is like, so they had a start period of Earth is in sad shape, but mankind unites to face the challenge and make a new life among the stars. It's not easy, but it's a time of hope and unity. So that's what they wrote for start period. End period, they wrote, humanity is scattered across a myriad of star systems with no central connection or core identity. Isolated and alone, humanity faces stagnation. So that's the period. And when they wrote it on the cards, they said mankind makes new life among the stars is the starting period. Humanity stagnates, isolated and alone is the ending period. So what, this could be anything. Andrew, do you have a good idea?
I feel like with colonization starting there, they will, considering that there's potentially going to be other life that the human civilization discovers, I would positively hope that some sort of, like, I don't know if you could call it like a council, but like an organization of multiple races or civilizations come to an accord to work together as a group instead of just total domination through colonization.
Okay.
It's a little long-winded, sorry.
No, that's okay. We can find a way to summarize that. If you want to write down a summary for that, that's fine. We'll vote on one. I just off the cuff, I know that I want there to be an empire. So I was thinking that the empire fades into obscurity. Might be an ending period. Jordan, what about you?
All I can think of is like humanity being destroyed.
That's okay. That's an option. I'll write mine out first. The all-powerful empire fades into obscurity. Oh, interesting. So Demi's just typed out, space travel works both ways, and a more advanced civilization stops empire's expansion.
I can't think of a way to like type out what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking like eventually humans just sort of stop existing because maybe they don't live as long as the other races, and maybe they like cross-pollinate and become a completely different race entirely, but they just sort of stop existing after like obviously a ridiculous amount of time.
So you could say like the human genealogy ends with interspecies crossbreeding.
Sure. That's like gross when you put it that way. But maybe it was gross when I said it.
Interspecies crossbreeding.
It was probably gross when I said it, and there's just no way to sum it up that's not gross.
I don't know. All right. Andrew, which one's your favorite?
I like the Demi's a lot. That's really good.
Yeah, I also like Demi's. Demi, what are you in favor of?
Yeah, I like it.
Okay. Jordan?
That's unanimous.
Nay or yay?
That's unanimous for Demi.
Okay. I will get rid of the others, and we will go with Demi's. All right, so light or dark?
I want to say dark because this civilization is trying to freaking monopolize interstellar space travel, so they're culling any of the civilizations that they discover that's also discovering it.
Okay, so the all-powerful evil empire is defeated by a more advanced civilization that's worse. It's Demi's vote.
More evil.
Yeah, I don't know. I think most space stories end on a hopeful note. I want to spin it in a light direction.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I'm thinking like a long forgotten civilization, resurfaces, and like the good guys take the fight to the Empire using their resources and technology and stuff. That would be cool.
We can't start in a bad place and end in a bad place, I feel like.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean,
sorry,
we could.
I've been playing.
The goth in me wants to.
So now that we've got our big picture and our starting period and our ending period, the next thing that we need to do is establish a palette. So basically what this is, these are the things that we agree to include or ban from our history. And if we include them, they're typically, when you include something, it is something that we wouldn't have thought to include before. Say, wizards in space. We weren't thinking wizards were going to be in space, but if somebody wants to add it, they can add it, and then it's an option. It might never get played with, but it's an option that's added into the palette. Conversely, things that we absolutely don't want to have in the history, and this doesn't have to be like just, for political correctness. It could also be just like, well, I don't think that, spaceships should have guns. And that could be something that you decide to ban. Everybody gets a chance to add or remove something. We're just going to go in the order that you guys are listed on the chat. And when somebody finally decides that they don't have anything else to add, we'll stop with the palette, and that'll be the paints that we're coloring with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I digs it.
So I think I'm going to put the palette should go at the very top of the page, in my opinion. First in the order is Jordan. What's one thing you want to add to the palette or remove from the palette?
I want to have space pirates.
Space pirates. Okay. Go ahead and put it in.
Space pirates, pirates in disguise. Sorry.
And now, are these like literal turn of the or not turn of the century?
Yes, I'm
like
imagining.
Caribbean pirates?
I'm imagining like Pirates of the Caribbean pirates, not like modern
All right.
at all.
Awesome. Definitely dig that. Very much a Treasure Planet.
Give me Treasure Planet
vibe.
like yesterday.
All right.
Ooh,
Okay.
that sounds fun.
All right.
Serving up
So we're gonna
Treasure
put
Planet
space
real
pirates.
nice.
Yes, and so that we know that that's a definitely a thing that we are adding. All right. Next is Andrew. What's one thing you want or don't want?
I would like a robotic. What is the term that I'm looking for? Like managing staff, almost like butler, robotic butlers, or giving giving basic services instead of like fulfilling human basic needs instead of the humans doing it themselves.
Okay. So like automated servants?
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you can go ahead and add that. Okay, I am next. Let's do a no because the first two have been yeses. I think there should be no time travel. Like no technology that enables you to move through time. And not even like anomalies that can make time weird. Like there's real planets that have like gravity wells and stuff, or you're close to a black hole where time gets like stretched or shrunk. That's fine, but you can't go backwards or forwards a bunch. So time travel is out. All right, Demi.
I should probably do a no too then.
You can do whatever you want.
Okay. Oh wow. Literally anything? Oh lord.
Yeah. Anything you want. Anything. When we say like anything you want to add is things that would be like not expected within the interstellar sci-fi environment that we're creating, and then the conversely is anything you want to remove that we might expect. So like time travel, I was like, there's plenty of sci-fi stories about time travel. We're not having it.
Okay. There is no such thing as currency. All space trade is like a complete barter system. So you have to like trade awesome items for other items.
Oh, that's gonna make the economy real interesting. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and add it. Here's a follow-up question, because I feel like it needs to be elaborated on. Do you mean to say that there is no interplanetary currency, or there is no currency period?
There is like no currency period in like I guess in space traveling. Like if you go to a planet, you have to use that planet's currency, I guess. But like in between.
Okay, no, so that's what I mean. Yeah, like the Empire might have its own currency, but it's not the galactic standard.
Right.
Nobody's got that.
Yeah, that's not like a galactic standard. So it's like mostly bartering things that each civilization, like whatever, can use.
Yeah, like I've got Fjellnell dollars. Do you take Fjellnell dollars? No, I do not. Get out of here.
Right.
Get out of here with that. Or I don't know. I guess Fjellnell's come through the station. I could take that. That's fine. All right, that makes sense. Okay, back to the top. Jordan.
I would like maybe for magic to exist.
Interesting. Elaborate.
Like,
what kind of magic?
Like, it doesn't have to be magic, but I'd like maybe like some races can do things that would be seen as magic. Like they could materialize things or like teleport at will or something.
Okay. So like,
Ooh.
well, yeah, you could just call it like space magic.
Yeah.
or
I'm going to call it alien magic.
That's a good one. That's a good way to say that. Yeah. All right. Andrew?
I'm not sure. So I don't know. These have all been really interesting. I'm having trouble thinking of one now.
That's fine. If you don't have any ideas, we can skip you, and then I'll do one, and Demi will do one, and then we'll be done.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. I think I want to add organic spaceships. And that is definitely a reference to the TV show Farscape, where they flew around in a Leviathan that was alive and capable of thought and feeling and pain. And they, walked around inside of its body. But it was definitely a spaceship.
Oh, that's kind of like the Gnosis and Xenosaga.
Yeah, other things have done it too. The most familiar one to me is Farscape, so that's why I said it. But yes, spaceships that are made or that are a living organism is in it.
Organic, I like it. Okay, I guess bioorganic spaceships, just because organic. I think that's a little. Is that too like vague? Bioorganic?
I don't know. I think I explained it. It's important enough. As long as you guys understand what I'm talking about, it's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, Demi. What's the do you got one, or do you want to skip?
Okay. Sorry. I have a couple. I'm trying to figure out which one I want to use.
And this is. I do want to clarify something. Like in the palette, we're not creating, like, these are the only ideas that can exist in the universe. You could at any time on your turn just be like, hey, there's an alien species called the Flood, and they just fucking kill everything. Like, and then it's in there now.
Stop, because I was just thinking that there should be like this rogue intergalactic alien species.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Okay.
Keep it. Save it for later.
Oh,
we don't want to know what you're thinking. I'm just trying to say that the palette does not have to be about that. The palette is this something that we would expect? No? Well, I want it anyway. Is this something we wouldn't expect or that we would expect? I don't want that at all. That's more of the idea of this.
I was thinking that we should all have magical girl transformations.
What?
We should all have magical.
This isn't the rule. This isn't we're building the rules for the legacy game. This is just stuff that exists in the history of this galaxy.
Oh, okay. Then I'm putting magical girl transformations. It doesn't have to be used specifically for anything, but they exist. So there's aliens out there that fucking Sailor Moon it.
All right.
Okay, wait. Also, does magical girl transformations kind of fit into alien magic? So is that kind of redundant?
No, because I think none of us were thinking when Jordan said alien magic that there was going to be Sailor Moon characters. So I think that including magic girl transformations definitely helps illuminate that is where you want to go with this.
Okay, cool.
But, and again, like this is just, it's part of the palette, but it's not something that has to happen. Or that if none of us, if none of the rest of us vibe with that idea, we're not like beholden to include it in the history. It just exists.
Okay, cool. And
yeah.
And it doesn't have to be as dramatic as Sailor Moon. I mean, it will be in some cases, but I just mean it like, if we're like equipping our armor, then all of a sudden we're just gonna go out when our armor is going to appear. Or just something of the sort.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that this just including it in the palette just means that like it exists somewhere out there.
Okay, cool.
If the spotlight never shines on it, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's just that whatever's happening in the universe that we decide to take focus on is the most important thing going on. And the fact that people can turn into magical girls, it's just to happen. It just happens. We just take it for granted because, people just turn into magic girls. That's all that happens. I don't know why you're making a big deal about it. It's just something that happens. So now that we have set up the game, we want to start playing. We already know more about our history than we did when we came up with the single sentence idea, and as we play, we'll find out more and more. The basic structure of the game is that we keep going around the table, adding to the history, making either a period, an event, or a scene. For each rotation, there's going to be one player called the lens, and that player is going to pick a particular focus that everything we create has to relate to. So if the focus is a city, each player is going to get to add something to the history that somehow relates to that city. It's a topic to keep us all on the same page. If you make a period or event, just describe what happens as though we're seeing it from the bird's eye view. You're in charge, and the rest of us are eagerly listening to hear what you have to say. If you make a scene, we all pick characters and role play to find out what really happens in that moment of history. I'll go first to show how it works. So I'll be the first lens, and I'll pick the first focus for our history. So I can create a new period. It'll be between our starting period and our ending period, somewhere in the timeline. Or I can create a event that happens inside of a period, or a scene that happens inside of that event. Since I am the lens, I will create two things that are, or I can either create one thing or I can create two things that are connected to each other. So I could create a period and then an event that inside of that, or a event and then a scene inside of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then each person after me will get to make one thing, and then at the end, I will come back and create one more thing, and then a new lens will be selected, and then they will have the creative control over the session. But yeah, once I have a focus created, you should keep your idea on track with that focus, but it doesn't have to be exactly related. You could create an event that happens 600 years in the future, but references this focus. You could create an event in the past that's existence forges the path for the focus. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I am going to create, let's do a scene or an event inside of this period. Interstellar colonization begins. Because I really want to, look at that period in more detail. So the focus is going to be the race to space. Other alien civilizations know about each other. They've been able to communicate with long-range communication, but they haven't actually met in person because of the limitations of their vehicles or their spaceships. So everybody's kind of pining to be the first. So that's the focus. Within that focus, I'm going to create a event called let's see what our alien race is. Let's go with the SDS build a prototype engine that explodes, killing thousands. I don't need to explain. I think it's pretty obvious that's dark. It's a pretty dark thing to happen. So yeah, they build this prototype engine to kind of expand faster in the space race, and are so focused on winning that they ignore the safety precautions, and all of the lab technicians and the people living in the nearby city completely dead, leveled. Okay, and then within that, I'm going to create a scene. And so how scenes work, we are going to all try to answer a question. We're going to pick characters. So let me scroll to this. So to create a scene, you first pose a question, something you want to find out about the history. The goal of the scene is to decide the answer to that question. So I state the question, we set the stage, we choose characters, and then we reveal thoughts that our characters have, and then we play the scene. So the question is going to be, when did the SDS technicians know they were fucked? So that's the scene question. All right. So the stage is this. They've just gone through the final checklist. There's a few kind of head scientists who are debating about routine things, when they're going to have lunch after, who's going to put their name first on the discovery document. And, one person might suggest, this is, maybe we should run a safety check. They wave him off. So, I will go ahead and, so the next person after me is, Demi. So Demi, what is your character?
My main character?
No, what is your character in this scene? You're going to be playing a character in this scene. And I have just stated there's a few head scientists. Mm-hmm. There's other technicians in this room as well. But there's also there's not any civilians.
Okay, I'm going to be playing one of the head scientists.
What's their name?
Their name is going to be Their name is going to be Cosmos.
Cosmos?
Yeah. K-O-Z-M-O-Z.
Okay, so you're Cosmos. You're one of the head scientists. Jordan.
Can I be the poor bastard suggesting the safety checks and getting shot down?
Absolutely, you can. You're a poor bastard.
That's my official name.
Yes, that's what it says on your nameplate.
Poor bastard.
You didn't realize why until now. All right, Andrew, who are you?
I want to be the technician that finds the first flaw, that turns everybody around and says, "Hey, I think we got a problem here."
Okay. And I will be the assistant who is taking lunch orders. All right. And okay, so the next thing we're going to do is reveal thoughts. So in the same order that we just created characters, just a super brief. What is your character thinking at this exact moment when we start the scene? Demi. Or Cosmos.
The Esdes are perfect. We make no mistakes and everything will go as planned.
Excellent. Poor bastard.
Man, I really think we ought to double check this ship. It just seems like we've never done this before. What if we kill a bunch of people?
Okay. That's what poor bastard's thinking. Okay. Andrew, what was your character again?
One of the technicians in the room.
Okay. What are they thinking about?
I hope I press the buttons in the right order. I don't want this thing to blow up.
All right, and I am the assistant, and I'm thinking, boy, I hope Cosmos noticed that I got his coffee order exactly right. Okay, and we're playing the scene, so let's get into it.
All right, fellow Esdesi, this is the moment that we've been waiting for. We've placed countless hours of testing theories and hypotheses and mathematical equations, and we have this down to perfection. There's absolutely nothing that can go wrong, for we have tested, and we are ready to show the galaxy what it means to be Esdes.
Hey, Technician Cosmos. I'm sorry. This is your mocha latte. I'm sorry. I did a really good job this time. I think you'll find that the goat's milk is perfect.
Could you get me a macchiato?
Yes. What size?
Large. What do you think I'm doing here? You think I don't need a large?
I'm sorry. I didn't want to assume
I have a large job.
The wrong size. Yes, of course you do.
Assistant, you dare interrupt this speech that is going to set us down the path to greatness over a macchiato? Give it here! Yes.
What's that red blinking light?
That red blinking light is none of your business. Your business is making sure that we are caffeinated.
Yes, sir. Yes, Cosmos, sir.
Mr. Cosmos, I think you actually might want to come take a look at this. Engine 1 is looking a little different than our previous tests.
And what is it showing?
It's showing a bit higher temperatures over the threshold that we're normally used to. Probably 5% higher than normal. Do you want me to monitor? Should we stop or should we keep going?
We should keep going. A 5% temperature difference shouldn't affect anything too much. As you know, with these tests, there's many things that are left. As long as they're within margin, it should be fine. We will proceed as planned.
All right, you got it, boss.
Cosmos, it is still well within the parameters of normal, but we haven't run our final safety checks yet.
We've run tests and tests before, and they've all turned out fine, so why waste time running another test just for us to get a result that we already know what it will be?
Well, the tests we've run were purely theoretical. We haven't run any practical safety tests yet.
Okay, but we are a civilization where theory and practicality are one and the same because we are what?
Perfect.
Exactly.
We're perfect.
We're perfect. I knew that one.
Exactly. So, why test again? We are ready to do this. We have come too far to let a theoretical test tell us that we're not ready when we are, so we will proceed.
Engine 2's, their temperature has started to rise as well. It's now 10% above normal levels. It's rising pretty steadily. Engine 1 is a little bit higher than that as well, I would say.
Okay, interesting. It could be... Okay, what you'll do is you'll keep the coolant tanks on standby, monitor those temperatures, and as long as we don't let it get too far out of control, then it should be fine. Like I said, we are perfect, so we have contingencies for these situations. Everything will continue as planned.
I don't want to be a bother. My coffee trolley, I forgot to put the locks on it, and it's kind of rolling out onto the tarmac right now. Is there like a technician down there that can, I don't know, stop it?
You lost control of a coffee trolley? What are you good for? You go get it, now!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm just gonna book it down the tarmac as like the engines are starting to fire up. This coffee trolley's like really getting away from me. It's kind of an incline, and it's approaching engine 1. Come in. The trolley's approaching engine 1. What do I do?
You fool! Stop it! Run faster! Okay, everyone divert power from engine 1. What are you doing?
I feel like, did we answer the question?
Yeah.
What?
I would say
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, the coffee trolley rolled into the engine intake, and
Right.
the coolant system was not able to withstand the added pressure. So, yeah, that's when they knew they were fucked. Okay, good job. Yeah, how scenes work. As soon as the question's answered, we're done with the scene.
Okay.
We as historians know what happens afterwards, so it's not even necessary to play it. All right. So those are my two things that I'm adding. Remembering the focus is the space race between kind of the more technologically advanced societies. So we're going to go in reverse order from how we do the scene. So Andrew, it is your turn to add something. You can add a period, you can add an event, or you can create another scene within an event.
I was thinking of another event before this, and I was thinking about like the first official contact with another alien race. It could be like the SDS with another race, or like the human race with somebody else. But I was thinking more human race, since that's it seems like that's what we're focusing on. So having the human race interact officially with another civilization for the first time.
Okay. So like first contact with humans and another race.
Yes, first contact.
You can just give us like a brief explanation of what happens in the event. We don't need to know like specifics because we're not creating a scene here. But just like a brief synopsis of how first contact went, because we know how first contact went.
Right. I think that first contact went kind of like, it wasn't a big surprise, but it was still important. And then from that first interaction came, I think, a boon for the human race, kind of an advancement in technology. And then from like sharing of intellect and stuff, which builds into the race for first galactic travel.
Okay, cool. Do you think overall this was a light or a dark interaction.
I feel like it was a light interaction.
Okay.
Sorry.
All
I'll
right.
put that
So
next
just
to it.
identify that. We'll erase this for now. Unless somebody wants to add a scene in there later. Okay. Jordan, it is your turn.
Okay. I'm gonna say while civilizations race to be the first into space, a group of elites from several of the bigger, more evolved planets are communicating, plotting behind the scenes to seize control.
Okay. Is this an event?
Yes.
And I don't want to make assumptions, but that's probably dark, right?
Yeah. I'm kind of thinking of this as being like the start of the Empire.
Oh, okay. Cool. So we're establishing that the Empire is not one race, but maybe a formation of a few different species.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was thinking.
Interesting. Okay. But obviously we don't have the Empire yet.
No.
So yes, that's still something that somebody else could create at some other point in time. Honestly, there's like probably a whole other game of Microscope we could play just for an alien or just for the Empire. But for now, go ahead and put light in at the end of your description.
You mean dark?
Dark, sorry. You can create a period, an event, or a scene. Just remembering, of course, if you create an event, it has to be in a period that already exists. If you create a scene, it has to be in an event that already exists. If you create a period, you can start something completely new. But it has to relate to the focus.
Okay. Can it be in addition to the way that humans established first contact?
Yeah. We don't have. You could create an event that talks into or that comes at it from a different angle. You can create a scene in which something happens within that time period or that event. Just whatever.
So I was going to say that, okay, you know how like the Volchanth kind of have like those like those like mind influencing powers?
We are now just, I mean, we do. The audience does not.
Oh, okay. So
just,
okay.
Whatever event you create, just be informative.
Okay, so, this entire time, okay, an alien, no, I don't know why it's doing that. Okay, here we go. An alien race was using...
If you want it to be the Vosanth, you can just say the Vosanth use their influencing ability to mask their activity in space.
So the Vosanth, and they did that for basically any of the other races.
And is that light or dark?
Light. Yeah, I want to say that they had good intentions for doing it. They were just trying to protect the lesser developed civilizations from easily being defeated and conquered by more advanced civilizations in space.
Okay. All right. Cool. So it's back to me, and I am going to say I'm going to actually add on an event. This is going to be at the end of the period, and I think it relates to the focus. So the Empire is formed and officially announces its existence by invading several planets, and effectively wins the space race. And I think this is dark. They are not very kind about invading the planets. They don't like offer to share. It's kind of like a, hey, this belongs to us now sort of thing. So yeah, that's generally perceived as pretty dark by most historians.
New season, new universe, new cast, new music, new website, new. We are back in the saddle again and ready to share the wonders of Role Warrior storytelling with our adoring masses, all 10 of you. Because of this glow up of newness, now more than ever it's time for you to join our elite group of patrons like Billy Young, Daniel Sittler, and James Beatty. For $5 a month, you get the bonus content. We are talking about bonus episodes not released to the Gen Pop, a direct line of communication to the cast so you can chat with us and find out what alcoholic beverages I prefer, or how many times Demi has been duped into the Church of Scientology. The answer might shock you. We would love your financial support so we can keep the lights on and keep doing what we love. To join, go to patreon.com/roll_warriors and hit subscribe. We also have a Twitter at Roll Warriors so you can tweet at or about us all hours of the day and night. Lastly, the website is currently being updated. Once complete, you will be able to follow along in the story to find out what a goosh is. See the document we are all annoyingly typing on in this episode, and learn more about the cast and characters. There will also be links to in-game materials we are using so you too can create worlds like deities, or run through the apocalypse RPG that is Legacy.
Okay, so we've completed this round of the game, and after we've created or finished this round, we do what is called create a legacy. And let me pull up the section. Oh, there's a whole lot of fucking shit about the scenes. Yeah, we got it. Okay. All right. A legacy can take many forms: an object, a person, a place, a bloodline, an organization, or even a philosophical idea. So the says the player to the right of the lens looks back over what happened during this focus and picks something to be a legacy. It has to be something that appears in play this round, either in the first time or reappearing from earlier in the game. You are not making something new, just singling out something already in the history. Choose something you're interested in and want to explore more. It has to be something specific from the history, not a broad concept or idea. So, Demi, you're going to create our first legacy. Every player can only have one. And this is, if you decide to make a new one, you just unselect your old legacy. And if another player wants to keep your old legacy, they can choose to immediately drop their own and replace it with the one being discarded. And so after that, after you create a legacy, you're going to make an event or a dictated scene about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. Okay.
So looking at everything that we just covered in this round, pick something that you want to focus on. It could be like a person, a place, a bloodline, organization, a philosophical idea, an object.
Okay, and I'm going to turn that into a legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I could just pick one of these, and I just put Legacy Denny, basically?
You don't have to pick one of the scenes or events or something. You just, like, as an example, you could say, the prototype engine is my legacy. And then you can write that out. We'll do it above the big picture, right under where I have legacy written down, and highlight it in a color of your choice. And then we'll just, that'll be denoted as your legacy.
Okay, wait, I still think I'm a little confused. I'm sorry. Okay. What is the legacy? What is it? The legacy?
It is something that you are choosing to put a spotlight on for kind of the duration of the game, something that interests you more than other stuff, and you're gonna get opportunities to play with it later.
Okay. So I kind of want to make the Esdes people a legacy.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and type that out and highlight it in a color of your choice.
Okay.
Now you can create you make an event or dictated scene about it. The difference between a played scene and a dictated scene, we just did a played scene on mine. That's where we all take part in it and kind of collaboratively tell the story. A dictated scene is I have an idea for a scene, but I just want to tell what happens. And so we don't make characters. You just explain it. So it'll be about your legacy.
Okay, so I can do a scene about...
or an event.
Or an event. Okay. Okay, so I have a question. Is like the prototype engine exploding and like what happened to their main planet are like two different things, right?
That, as far as... So, Demi, that is an idea that you have had.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the history is concerned, it hasn't been manifested yet.
Okay.
So its existence doesn't right now. So if that's what you want to happen, you have to add it into the game at some point.
Ooh, okay, so that's probably where I should start, right?
Yeah,
so,
if you want to.
Okay, so I will do... Okay, the Esdes. Okay. People lose their home world from prototype interstellar travel.
Accident?
Yeah. Accident and become space dwelling.
And then is that light or dark?
Dark.
Okay. I don't think there's an explanation needed. That's just self-evident. Okay. All right, cool. So we finished the main or the focus phase. We finished the legacy phase. It is now time to start a new focus. So in opposite order from where we just went, Andrew, you are now the lens. You get to create a new focus, and you can create either one thing or two things that are connected to each other.
Okay, so I am going to make a new period. Is that cool?
Don't ask me. Just do it.
I'm making a new period for...
well, what's the focus about for the period?
So
that you're about to create?
I wanted to focus on intergalactic communications, like in inner civilization communications for this one, like how the different civilizations are interacting with each other throughout all of this. So, but after the space race has ended. So the space race has ended.
Okay, so like...
And then...
So like post-Empire diplomacy?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so that's the focus, everybody. So everything that we create has to relate to diplomacy after the space race in some way, shape, or form. So yeah, go ahead and make your period.
Yes. So we have space. Cool. So I got a new period where intergalactic trade begins.
Oh, you might want to put that after the Empire invades several planets with interstellar tech.
Okay, got it. Sorry, I thought I was in a different place.
So that is the period. Did you want to create an event within the period or move on to something?
I just want to move on to somebody else.
Okay. All right. So next it is Jordan.
So I'm going to go ahead and piggyback off of Demi's thing of not wanting like a unified currency. So...
Okay. So read us what you have written there.
So I put civilizations fight over a unified currency, talks reach a stalemate. So they just can't decide what money is going to be the money of the empire.
And I know this is kind of gray, but do you think it's light or dark?
Probably dark, because it probably makes trade really difficult.
Okay. Drac. Darl.
Drac.
Dark.
Don't laugh at my typing.
That's all right. Okay. Next up is Demi.
All right. So I'm just creating like another event or period, etc.
Or scene, yep.
Okay.
Just has to relate to the focus, but it can be anywhere on the timeline.
I'm gonna continue further with the civilization fights over unified currency, talks reach a stalemate. Okay. So, there we go. Currency, lo and behold, was an Earth-only concept. It was introduced into the galaxy, and capitalism threatened to destroy the whole galaxy. Wait, is that too much?
I mean, it's a big event, but yeah,
And then, bam. And then I feel like that's what kind of segues into civilizations fight over unified currency. Talks reach a stalemate, and that's just how crazy things started happening from this. Okay.
Okay. And is that a light or a dark event?
Ooh, totally dark.
Okay.
Okay.
All of our events are very dark.
Yeah, I'm noticing that. You guys are really morose people.
Sorry.
Is everyone just having a bad week?
So,
Life is a bummer.
No, I had a really good weekend. I'm feeling good.
I'm also feeling good.
I'm glad you guys are doing great. I'm happy for you.
Thanks. Thanks, buddy.
You
Okay.
there?
Yeah, I'm good. Sorry. Just give me a hard time.
Okay. I really want to explore something. I want to explore this intergalactic trade diplomacy at the end of our time period. And so I'm going to create an event called Practiced Diplomats Reach Accord with Super Species. Let's call them the Grial, because why not? To unseat the Empire. And that's light. It's a good thing. So yeah, basically, like they've had a long time to get kind of good at their job, and find out what makes the other races happy. And so yeah, this like giant peace summit reaches an accord with this super advanced species, the Grial, and they work out a plan to fuck the Empire. And that's a good thing, because the Empire sucks. So that's my that's my event. All right, so it'll go back to you, Andrew, to close us out with one more thing that you create.
Okay. So I can make like an event or anything else, I guess, within that. Sorry. Just making sure. I'm sorry I'm asking a million questions.
No. It's fine. This is the first time we're all playing this, so I'm not super familiar too. I read the whole rule book. But yeah, basically you can create any other thing, a period, an event, or a scene, that relates to the focus that you created. And this is kind of gives you an opportunity to guide the creation of this focus a little bit more. You get the last word.
So I was thinking I could just I don't know. I like the scenes. It would be fun to do another scene, but
Yeah.
like I like this fight over the unified currency thing. Like to have a scene and see. I guess really what I want to know is like which civs are present, and who has the biggest issue with the currency. Because it might be, there could be something with like the Empire or like what else, something with the Empire in their proposal and what groups would defy them in order to lead to the big fight that happens towards the end, if that makes sense.
Okay. So to help you along with this, since this is your first scene you're creating, I think you probably don't need to say which civs are present. As historians, we're definitely well aware, and it'll be answered when we create characters.
Right.
So I think that like just stating like, who has the biggest issue with the currency, or a more targeted, you could decide who it is, and you just say, why does the Goosh have such a problem with the currency, and then we play a scene where we act out what it is that's their grievance.
Okay, great. I guess because the Goosh are kind of the banking society. I forgot about that. I created those people. Dang. Okay, so. I'm
not trying to guide you.
I totally appreciate it. It makes sense,
and that still leaves it plenty open ended because we don't know what the proposal is, who's proposing it, So that's good. So after you state the question, you're going to set the scene, which is just kind of like a dungeon mastery. What's going on in the room, who's present. So you get to tell us, key characters, like who has to be present, and you get to tell us who is not present.
So I believe they are interacting on a large ship instead of on a planet, they're in kind of like a safe waters, quote unquote, area of space, or a neutral zone in space on a ship. Whose ship? Hosted by the Goosh, so it's a Goosh ship.
Okay.
Because since their whole deal is economy, I believe the Fielnil are there, the Vosinth would be there, Esdeath are there, and the Fortisan. Well, more like, I don't think the Fortisan would be there, but the Esdeath, Vosinth, Fielnil, and Goosh would definitely be there talking about a new currency proposal, and I believe, and I guess humanoid, or the humans would be there too, and I agree the humans would be the ones bringing up the idea of currency.
Okay. Are you banning anything? Or anyone, really?
No, I'm not. I'm just going to leave it open.
So each one of us has to play a representative from one of the races that you mentioned.
Correct.
Is that going to be feasible?
I guess not.
So just like with key characters, you want it to just be like, this is who absolutely needs to be there, and one of us has to play them. Otherwise,
okay,
if they're not mentioned, they can be there or they don't have to be there. But since you're setting up the scene, you're saying, well, the Goosh definitely have to be there, and also this person or that person.
Okay, I would say the Goosh definitely have to be there then, and then the humans have to be there because the humans are proposing the currency, the intergalactic currency. So
we all know who else is, an optional thing because we created the aliens,
right?
So, okay, so it's going to be. We're now going to do characters, so it'll go. I guess me first. And then Demi, and then Jordan, and then Andrew, you'll create a character at last. I think I'm going to be a representative from the Vocinth. Just because, I don't know. I think that they're cool. She's very eclectic, like a collector of sorts, and uses her song skills to kind of get good deals on things. So that's my character, Demi.
Okay. I was totally going to be a Vocinth, but I will...
You can also be a Vocinth as long as two of us are either a Goosh or a human.
I kind of
Okay.
wanted to be a human, so
Okay.
if that helps
Well-
you, Demi.
Okay, cool. I will also be also a Vocinth. Like, Siren. Because I want to do it.
All right. Any distinction for your character?
I guess she'll be like the main, like, communications liaison Vocinth.
So you're
But-
the ambassador, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I'm kind of like a collector attaché.
I like it. Okay, you seem to be very pro-currency, and I feel like my Vocinth is, like, very against it. So we could be
Don't
like,
tell me what I am.
No!
Don't tell me what I am, Demi.
No, I was asking.
This isn't a collaboration. I'm my
I
character,
know.
and you're your character.
That's true. I'm sorry, I overstepped. Okay, yeah.
All right. All right.
Okay.
All right, Jordan.
I'm gonna be a human ambassador, speaking in favor of the currency proposal.
Capitalist.
I'm gonna be a capitalist.
Awesome.
I'm like Elon Musk's great grandchild or something.
Awesome. Okay, Andrew.
So that I'll be the Goosh chairman that is leading the discussion.
All right, so yeah, it's probably going to put you in charge of answering the question more or less. But yeah. Okay, and so now we each go same order, reveal what we're thinking about just before the scene starts. As the collector attaché, I'm more concerned with making like a special deal with the humans. I really want like certain exotic animals from your planet. So yeah, this whole talk about currency is great, but let's get to like the antelopes and the octopus and the giraffe. That's what I'm interested in. Okay, Jordan or Demi.
The thought of a intergalactic currency spreading amongst the peoples seems to be the most dire of things that could happen. This needs to be confined back to the planet where it came from, so that the galaxy does not become purged in war and greed like this planet has.
And Jordan?
I'm just thinking about how best to present my case because I want human money to be everyone's money.
Natch. All right, Mr. Goose Chairman, what's your thoughts?
I believe personally that if it isn't broke, you don't need to fix it. So, though I am supposed to be I'm supposed to be impartial to the discussion. I have my own ideology with the talks about the currency, but I'm here to just be a listening ear and to see both sides.
If that's it, then we'll just we'll start the scene.
The Goose chairman recognizes the human representative with a new proposal to our small gathering today. If you would like to speak on what you would, your proposal, that would be most excellent.
Yes, for hundreds and hundreds of years, money was the driving factor of the human race. Money was the reason that the humans got to space. Money was the reason that we built this great empire, and money is the reason that I'm standing before you today. And I believe that trade is currently difficult amongst the empire, with many races not even having a concept of money, and many races having a concept of money that's vastly different. And I believe that this could all be solved by just making human money the money that we use, the official money of the empire, because it was humans who brought currency into the empire, and it's humans that should control that currency.
The Vosanth are very interested in this proposal, and would be amenable to accepting it on the condition that Earth introduces some pot sweeteners, if you will, some attachments to this proposal. A rider.
What did you have in mind?
We are aware of several extremely interesting species on your world, and would be agreeable to this proposal if one would simply offer pickers' rights on certain animal species.
Animals? That's all you want? Take all the animals you can get, I guess.
Excellent. This Vosanth is in favor of the human's proposal.
You are a disgrace to the Vosanthi people. Why would you want something like the concept of currency and money when you've seen what it's done to the galaxy already? Now there is even more war and fighting and strife because the value has been placed on things, something that is completely made up, yet it gives entirely real consequences to the people that cross its path. This galaxy has done fine with simply trading things with each other that has been needed, sharing information, sharing technology, sharing things that we cannot acquire. Like, we've been fine with trade. This whole concept of money is just going to push the ones who can't acquire it down even further, which allows tyranny.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Ambassador, but I believe that you and your family have paid a visit to some of my facilities and had quite a fun time. Now, these do not pay for themselves. The concept of currency is in favor to me because, well, certainly it's good for business.
But with our abilities of eloquent persuasion, why do you need to pay for anything at all? You could simply convince your party to give you the things that you need. We don't need it, so I don't understand your interest in it.
The Vosanthi would like to have a sidebar, and we're just going to talk to each other and open the floor up for whoever else.
We recognize the humans to speak again if they so choose.
I believe that I've made my case very effectively, Your Honor.
I see. Given the circumstances that your very elaborate and very thoughtful presentation has given us, it's given us some thought, and I appreciate what you have said so far. Knowing that things are how they are here in the galaxy and you all are new, I can see how you are trying to make your way in this galaxy with your ideas, but change is not, or it can be something that you and your people should be willing to accept. We will take it to a vote for this proposal of currency with everybody and see what we see.
Before we begin the vote, I just have one thing that I would like to, air quote, say.
The Vocynthi is recognized. Please speak.
Okay, sorry. She's using her Vocynthi like siren powers to try and dissuade the Goosh from voting in favor of this currency.
Yeah. The collector is just sitting in the corner, rolling her eyes with the absolute disdain for her ambassador.
Did we say that the Goosh are not affected by that?
I don't know. That would be a way to answer the question, if that's what you think the Goosh would.
I feel like, I don't know. I feel like that is what probably that would answer the question, because if they were to do that, and I don't think when we made those that they were like an impartial like group. So I think if they were persuaded by the Vocynth, then that would be it.
Okay. Well, then that's the question answered.
There you go.
All right. So why did the Goosh not like the currency proposal? They were songbirded by a Vocynthi.
There you go.
Who did not represent the interests of all of her people.
Yeah, she really did it.
Some of them just want fancy animals.
Fancy animals.
Yes.
So she feels like currency is a disease to be purged.
Hey. The scene's over.
Oh, okay.
If you wanna go back into it in more detail, you can make your own scene that covers it again. But for now, we've ended the scene. So we will go into the legacy phase, which I believe means that it is. So I am creating the legacy this time. And I think, I want to cover Vocynth ambassador. What's her deal? Why does she hate currency? And so I'm gonna create a scene, a dictated scene. So we are in the Vocynth ambassador's chamber just before the talks start. And she's sitting there with a rather like poshly dressed Jagger, who he's wearing like imperial clothes, and he is explaining how you're going to do everything you can to kill the humans' proposal. They don't need any more power in the universe than they've gotten already. In exchange, we won't invade the Vocynth homeworld. And you don't breathe a word of this to anyone. So yeah, that's the scene. Is the Vocynth ambassador is being strong-armed into rejecting the currency proposal brought by the humans in favor of the Empire.